Every show I buy for is different. Principally, I would start a new show at the whiteboard stage, which means the designer will come in with really rough ideas, may never have spoken to the director about the look of the show. So it's not in concrete, but it gives me a good starting block for research. So from the whiteboard, before the show's been designed, we have a meeting. Then the designer comes back and presents to the company, then comes down to the wardrobe department. We go through design by design for the budget, and at that same meeting I start the wardrobe bible, which I will complete from shoes through to hat and everything in between, all the trims, buttons, fabrics. Then from me, working anything from up to a year before it goes into the workroom, it goes to the supervisor, who then takes the fabric into the workroom with the designer, and they discuss the shape of the garment. So anything that has to happen, if something's taken off on stage, you don't want to see labels, it might need a special lining, and all that will get discussed with the supervisor and the designer. So I really buy from right through that first initial stage. I will keep picking away, buying extra things right up until the minute of opening night on One Opera. So it's quite a big job.
I am the ladies' cutter here, or one of several, and our role is to have a discussion with the designers, to actually look at the designs, interpret, get into the head of the designer to what they want, and then we actually make patterns to work with the artists, made to measure option most of the time, and we see the making of the costume right the way through, from design through to finish on the stage. Well, we've had quite a few challenges recently. I've only been here for about 14-15 months. In that space of time, we had to create a dress for Salome that unravelled, and it had to unravel from the top down rather from the bottom up. But we managed to get that working. That was quite a task that we had to do, and in the end we used a system with magnets to work that. And on a very different side of things, the challenge we're working with at the moment is for Force of Destiny and Leonora. She has a full-on pannier and a big sort of bench garment, and she has to have all of those items taken off her by her maids systematically and go down to her corset, her actual support, and then probably down to a chemise.
The outside fabric is extremely heavy with embroidery. The bodice is boned. I did a rough count the other day. At some points with all the pleats and the seams, there's 35 layers of material that we're trying to sew through. This one I think would take over 100 hours, because Beryl has to do the pattern and then cut it, give it to me. So with the entire costume and all the layers, at least 3 weeks. But I'm sure it'll be beautiful when it's finished. Very impressive. So I put it together for a fitting, which may involve machining it or tacking it together for a fitting. And then after the fitting, the cutter will mark it up for me, mark up the alterations. We change the pattern, so we have that as a record. And then it will come back to me. Usually then it will go straight through to finish.
Gets ticked off, has a costume list written, put in a box, and off it goes down to the stage, and hopefully everyone's happy.